What's up, my friends? Welcome to the What is Truth podcast. I am your host, Weezy. Everyone had a fantastic Christmas. And shout out to those that spent it alone. I did. And I'm sure there was other people. Um, I'm sure the holidays this time of year, spending them alone sucks. First year that I had to go through it, and hopefully it's the last. But everyone else that had family, I hope you guys enjoyed them. Don't take those moments for granted. Enjoy every second of it. Want to give a shout out to my little to my missy. She's on the mend, and hopefully we'll bounce back soon. So got an update. Um Thank you everyone that made it out. This is a listener appreciation show. I put the Rumble link on the on or I'm sorry, the StreamYard link on the Rumble channel. So if you're listening on Odyssey or YouTube, go please follow me on Rumble and the StreamYards there. I'm gonna give you a few words, maybe 40 minutes to an hour. And then I want to hear from y'all. This show is for you guys. It's appreciation. I'm truly, truly honored and grateful. This year was super tough personally for me, but as far as the show, it was awesome. It was an amazing, and it sounds cheesy, but I think having you guys, doing the show is what really kept my sanity through it all. So it's a little way to thank y'all. You know what I mean? So I'd love to hear from all y'all. And if you just want to call in for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, say a couple words, talk some shit, whatever you want. You don't have to stay the whole time. You know, I just want to. I would love to hear from everyone that enjoys the show, because in a weird way, y'all saved me this year. What's up, Colleen? What's up, Secret Squirrel? What's up? This is my story. What's up, Frankie? What's up, Tinker? Hell yeah. Yeah, it was a as far as the podcast, we doubled up on Spotify listeners, doubled up on downloads. On Spotify alone, 2.1 million minutes listened. I think across all platforms, it was like 10 million minutes listened, which is insane. It's bananas. That's in large part due to the fact that I do 2, 3, 4, 5 hour shows. But by having that amount of minutes listened, that tells me that y'all enjoy those long shows. That's what that means. You know what I'm saying? So um this year, more than any other year, I've had several people say this is my favorite show, or if not their favorite show, up there, top 5 and shit like that. That is truly an honor, and I don't take that lightly. I'm going to go over a couple things. Then after I go over a couple things for the show highlights, I'll talk a little bit, give you guys a little bit of background, especially for the new listeners. What's up, Irie? Hit that StreamYard later on, bro. Everyone, anyone, any one of y'all, hit that StreamYard and we'll get you on. But I want to give to the new listeners, I want to give you guys a little bit about my background. Because if you're a new listener, you may be wondering why, I agree with him here, but I disagree with him there, and so on and so forth. Maybe by hearing my background a little bit, things will make a little bit more sense, or maybe maybe you'll get confused a little bit more. So I just, it's an appreciation show, and I didn't know how I was going to go about it tonight, but in the end, I said it's going to be positive. We're going to have a good time. It's the end of the year. I didn't try to do a downer at the very beginning by saying, I spent the Christmas alone. That wasn't my intention. I was just saying, it did suck, but we're going to have a party tonight. My older brother, He might be. I think he's listening. He might even jump in as well. Um, on Christmas Eve, I listened to Seneca the philosopher, and I was listening to his letters to Lucilius or Lucilian, some shit like that. God damn, I was blown away. I couldn't believe how amazing the letters to Seneca was, or from Seneca, his letters and shit. That I pretty much binged listening to a bunch of shit on Seneca all day Thursday while I worked. And if everything goes good, I want to do a show, a full on show. So this is a teaser for next week's show. Seneca the philosopher. Man, his shit was hitting. And then I did more research on the guy himself, and I'm like, oh, he's kind of a hypocrite. But even if someone is a hypocrite, it's the words that count at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be a similar show to when I did the Marcus Aurelius. Seneca is a stoic. He was born around, he's kind of like a Jesus contemporary. He was born around 3 BC or 4 AD, somewhere around that area. So around the Jesus era time. And he was an aristocrat, super wealthy. He was an elite, I guess you could say it. And he was exiled a couple times. And while he was exiled, he wrote these letters to his homie, Lucilius, telling him how to live and how to process the ups and downs of life. And so people will be like, well, he was a hypocrite because he was rich and shit. He was an elite. But then the other way to look at it is the motherfucker had money and he was trying to be humble and whatnot. So there's that to it. And then on Christmas, I listened to Nietzsche and Friedrich Nietzsche, man, German dude from the 1880s. And I listened to his audiobook called Beyond Good and Evil or something like that. Can't remember exactly. But I listened to that audiobook a couple of times. I was like, damn, this shit hits. This shit hits. So now you had these two stark things, man. Seneca, positivity, believing in the soul and the spirit. And then you have Nietzsche said, nah, fuck that. It's all brain synapses. I loved it. I loved it. And that gives you an insight into how my mind works. I'll listen to it all. I may not agree with it, but I'll still listen to it because I feel you can always gain knowledge, nuggets of truth. Even in the most fucked up shit, you can learn. And that's how I look at things. William Wallace, there we go. That's what it's called. Beyond Good and Evil. I loved it. So here you had two contrasts. On the 24th of December, I listened to Seneca letters. And then on the 25th, I listened to Nietzsche. I am a weirdo. I am a damn weirdo. Frankie says, listening to Nietzsche on Christmas is fucking hell. I'm telling you, I'm a weirdo. I already know it. But this is probably why you guys like hearing my takes sometimes, because they are out there. They are different. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of background, where I grew up, my early life, and how I got here. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that'll help you guys understand a little bit more. But before we get there, let's go over some of these milestones that I'm truly humbled by, because it's exquisite. There you go. This is just from Spotify too. This is not all platforms. 2.1 million minutes listened. And let's see. How the fuck do I do this? Okay. That's the equivalent to 35,000 hours of listening time. 1.4 thousand days of listening. God damn. I don't know. 208 weeks of listening. Yeah, that's what that number there. And I'm humbled by it. Let's see. Let me look at some other milestones that we hit, and these are all Spotify numbers too. Like I said, it has nothing to do with the YouTube. The most downloaded pod or episode was with Seven Seas PsyOp season. You guys really, really enjoyed that. That was the most downloaded episode this year. Let's see. Oh, this is pretty humbling right here. Let's see. Okay. Your show was in the top 5% of videos on Spotify. God damn. I'm a little show. There's a lot of shows out there. And to be in the 5%, Spotify is a massive ass platform. And to be in the 5% of videos, that's humbling as well. Let's see what else. We had a bunch of comments on Spotify this year. So everyone that comments on Spotify, thank you guys for your enthusiasm. Although there was one show that I was talking smack about a wannabe comedian, and people were not too happy. people got kind of upset, but I speak my mind. You know what I mean? If you've been following me for a while, I just speaks my mind. Pretty much all the shows that I did with Seven Seas were on fire this year. And most of you guys love when me and him get together and we vibe together pretty good. There was a couple of knuckleheads that, oh man, Seven Seas again. And I'm sure some of his audience probably feels the same way about me. But check this out. This is awesome right here. 75 countries reached overall. That's fucking bomb. Here's the top 5 countries. Ireland. Shout out to Ireland. Shout out to Australia. Shout out to the PezDispenser.com. Hell yeah. Shout out to Canada. Hell yeah. Shout out to the UK. Look at all 3 of the lack of free speech countries tuning into the What is Truth podcast. And I fully understand. I could never do my show the way I speaks out in Australia, Canada, or the UK. They would throw my ass in jail. So shout out to Australia, Canada, United Kingdom for keeping up that spirit. Y'all, you know, your government suck ass, but you guys are still representing by tuning into the show. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to y'all. Then, of course, the US of A. When I first started the podcast, it was inverted. It was UK was most of my fan base, or not fan base, my friends, my listeners, and then the US, and then the US creeped up and now is on top of the world. Thank you guys that listen all wherever you may be listening to. That's fucking awesome. All right, let's see what other one. Okay, this one's humbling right here. This one is fucking right here. You are a top 10 show for 1.3 thousand fans. That is, I don't take that lightly. And that's just on Spotify. Like I said, all these numbers are not, they don't include Rumble, Odyssey, or YouTube, whatever, Apple. This is just Spotify stats. And in Spotify alone, 1.3 thousand listeners have me in their top 10 of shows. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. That means a lot. Everyone and their mom can do a podcast. And to know that I'm in those people's top 10 list, that is super, super, super humbling. And from the bottom of my heart, I'm not, I hate repeating myself, but I mean it. I'm truly humbled by this number right here. It's yeah, I don't take it lightly. That's one of the reasons why I do the show, for sure, right there. And then the next number, for 800 people, I'm the top 5 show. and then just about 200 have me as their number one. God damn, man, that's pretty awesome. So thank you guys. That means a lot. I'm gonna try to deliver in 2026 the most exquisite shows that I can do. I work my ass off during the week, and then on the weekends, it's time to party. It's time to bring you guys the most awesomest shows that I can do. Try to bring that energy. And like I said at the very beginning, this year was a little bit hard for me because of the personal issues going on in my life. But doing the show really helped me get through. I want to say the darkest moment in my entire life. I'm 43 years old, and there was a couple of months that, fuck, dude, I was so depressed, and yeah, it's crazy. I lost 20 pounds in 1 week. But this show helped. Um, yeah. So a little bit about me. Um, I was originally born in San Diego to two illegal Mexican immigrants, my mom's and my dad's, and they didn't know shit for English, and they crossed the border. Short time later, I was born. You can call me an anchor baby, and I'm damn proud. And I lost my mom 2 years ago. Damn, I need a beer. It's been rough. I'm so with my mom and my dad, it was me. I was the oldest of the three siblings. And then I have a half brother. He might be listening right now. I spoke with him last night. He may even call in. Um, but we had the same dad, and I didn't really know him. I think I met him when I was already like 11 years old. I didn't even know he existed. And it's crazy because now that we're older and we talk and shit, it's like we didn't, we always grew up together, even though I didn't even know he existed until much later in life. Um, and we grew up poor, you know, we didn't have a lot of money. Um, I joke around a lot, but the, you know, I grew up in, just around Mexicans and blacks, and sometimes people's like, "What accent? You got an accent? Where are you from?" I'm like, "Bitch, I'm from LA. I'm from the hood. I speak Hoodinese. I don't think I have an accent, but apparently I do." And grew up there as a little kid, and then um, when I was a kid, my parents would take us to Mexico like during the summer, and we were from LA, the big city, and my parents were from a little Mexican town, like 15,000 population, 15,000, tiny little town. I remember as a kid, some of the roads still had cobblestones. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how old school that town was. And being a little kid from the city, I used to love going to Mexico because it gave me a sense of country life. You know what I mean? A lot of city boys, a lot of people that grow up in the cities, they have a hard time adjusting to the country because they're used to the finer things in life. You know what I mean? They're used to having this and that. And Mexico was poor as fuck. and I loved it. You know what I'm saying? I loved hanging out with my grandpa. He was a 100% Indian dude, and my favorite memories of him, he'd just be chilling in the lounging room area. In Mexico, they don't have houses like everywhere else where you have roofs all over your house. In Mexico, only the bedrooms have roofs. Everything else is open to the elements. That's just how they roll. And my grandpa would just chill there. And I remember him with his eyes closed, sleeping, and then catching flies. And I'm like, man, this motherfucker's a ninja. And I thought my grandpa was the coolest motherfucker, man. Straight up Indian, and learned a lot from him as a little kid. And yeah, but I think the reason I'm bringing that up is because I think that's why I look at things different. I had the city life, liberalism way of growing. And then when I go to the country, I saw the more country, conservative side of things. So I was able to see a little bit of both. You know what I mean? I think part of the issue is people get their, if they grow up nothing but conservative religious ideologies, that's all they know. That's all their worldview. If you grow up in the city and you're just super liberal, whatever, that's all you fucking know. You got no other ways to look at it. And I think by being immersed into these two different, I suppose you could say extremes, it helped change my worldview. You know what I'm saying? And so that's me growing up as a little child. And then at a certain point we moved to Salt Lake City, Utah. And that was a shell shock to me too, you know. In the 90s, going to Utah. My aunt married a Mormon dude. He wasn't really a practicing Mormon. He was they call him Jack Mormons, you know, they're just Mormons by name, but he used to drink beers and shit. He was cool as fuck, man. That was my white uncle. And he they moved over to Utah in the early 90s, and then my family, especially my mom's like, I need to go and be with my sister. So we moved out there. And that was a whole different world too. You know what I mean? Growing around Mormons and shit with their crazy ass beliefs. And that, I'm sure, changed my worldview as well. And it affected it. But even as a kid, I don't know, you can call me the ghetto Socrates. Even as a kid, I was always like wondering about shit. Even growing up poor, whatever, you know. I remember some of my early musings as a kid. I didn't know nothing about race or nothing. I just knew that how come white people always were rich? I remember as a little kid, this is my mind processing shit. Like, man, I wish I was born white. White kids get to eat Cheez-Its. Cheez-Its are these little snack cookies. See, we grew up poor. Our little versions of snacks, my mom would make us a little tortilla with mayonnaise. That was a delicacy because we were poor as shit. We didn't have. There was times we had to put water in the milk. You know what I'm saying? And I remember seeing these little white kids would eat Cheez-Its. And I was like, fuck, man. That's when you know you made it in life, when you can eat some Cheez-Its whenever you wish. You know what I'm saying? I had an affinity for Cheez-Its. And I thought that was, as a little kid, I was like, that's a sign of wealth. If you can eat Cheez-Its, you're making some money. And so as a little kid, I was like, man, I want to have some money. I want to eat some motherfucking Cheez-Its. And so it's funny, when I was going to high school, my parents got some sweet ass gigs, and it allowed us poor kids to go to high school, Catholic high school. And that was my real brush with, like, going to school with rich kids, rich white kids, rich liberal kids. And they had money. And I was like, man, how the fuck? I remember going to some of my friends' houses. They lived in the fucking avenues. They had swimming pools in their basements. Some of them had basketball courts inside their homes. These guys were rich as fuck. And little young Weez was like, man, I want to have these kind of things, these material things. I want to have that fucking money, because where I'm growing up, I don't have shit. We have to do sub for Santa and shit. And yeah, I think going to school at a young age and seeing kids that had money and shit, I was like, man, money seems to money may not be the answer to everyone's problems, but it sure fucking helps. And so at a young age, like, I didn't know what I wanted to do exactly. But I remember thinking, if I listen to smooth jazz, because my friends' parents, when they drive their BMW, they listen to smooth jazz and NPR. If I could, I need to emulate. If I want to be like a motherfucker, I gotta see what they do. I gotta try to emulate what they do. And so I started hearing people using exquisite rhetoric. High school is when I first started using the word exquisite. I remember being in high school and hearing the word exquisite, and it did something to me. It made me feel exquisite. And ever since I was a kid, I was like, man, that's the word right there that a top level motherfucker uses. I may be from the hood, but I'm gonna start using that word exquisite. And if you've been following me for a while, you already know and so now you have a little more context why I say exquisite. It was something that I learned, on my way trying to leave the ghetto and become, quote unquote, something in life, if you want to call it that. And when I was 19, we had a family friend that did real estate, and I got into real estate. I was 19. I wasn't even old enough to drink beer, and I was selling houses, and I was kicking ass. And that's when I really started getting into politics. I was like, fuck yeah, now I'm part of the bourgeois. You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to make it. I'm doing real estate full time. I'm paying for my motherfucking bills. And so I got to leave some of my ghettoisms a little bit behind and try to refine my character. And did that for a long time, 12 years. And at some point, I think it was in 2007 when the market crashed. And my dumbass didn't save money. I didn't budget any money. And so when the market crashed, I almost got fucked over along with my family. And I was stupid. I think what happened was I was used to being poor and I didn't know how to save money. How the hell was my parents going to teach me how to save money when they were just trying to make ends meet? You know what I'm saying? So when I started making that money, I didn't save any. And almost nearly fucked me over. I had to do bankruptcy and everything. It did fuck me over, but not completely, entirely. And when the market crashed, I had to find another job. And that's when I got into firefighting. I remember seeing the shit in 2001 and being obsessed with the 9/11 story. And I followed the 9/11 story. And seeing the heroism by the firefighters going up the towers. That's what motivated me. I was like, damn, I want to be a fucking firefighter. I want to be a bad motherfucker. And so I got into firefighting. I became a hotshot for a few years. And that's where I got my CDL, my commercial driver license. And I got to see a lot of the country doing that job. It was awesome. I was from the hood. I didn't know nothing about camping, and I had to learn quick how to camp. I never took a shit in the woods. I had to learn all that shit. But that job taught me a lot. It taught me how to be a man. It taught me I already had the work ethic, but it took it to another motherfucking level. And I did that for a few years. And then 10 years ago, we moved out here to Florida. And got into garbage. I wanted to do firefighting, but I had to redo my fire academy. I had to redo everything. I was like, nah, I don't got time for that shit. So I got into garbage, and I've been doing garbage ever since. And I want to say about 8 years ago or so is when, whenever the Post nightclub shooting happened, maybe that was 2018, some shit like that. I was a normie, and as a normie, when that went down, I was like, this isn't adding up. This isn't adding up. This isn't adding up. And that's when I started becoming somewhat a conspiracy theorist. And I was listening to other podcasters. I was listening to Billy Ray, my homeboy Billy Ray, Ed Opperman, William Ramsey. I was listening to these people as I was doing garbage. And at times I was getting frustrated because I had these thoughts that I didn't hear no one else talking about. And it was frustrating because I'd be in the live chats, I'd be listening, and it felt like I was screaming to the wind, and no one was listening to me. And then I heard my boy Ricky Varandas have a podcast. I'm like, here's a dude about my age. He's a little hip. I can vibe with this shit. And Ricky's really the one that kind of inspired me. Kind of inspired me to. I was like, shit, if Ricky can do it, I can do it. Which is probably funny to some people because now when I go on Union of the Unwanted, I don't know if Ricky likes me that much anymore, but they still invite me. There was a union last Monday, and I did get the invite. It's just I was so tired, I didn't go on it. But yeah, it's that's who inspired me, and that's when I started my podcast. Then I didn't have any followers, and then I ran into this clown named Sean Atwood. I liked him at first. I thought he was cool. And then I started finding out some unsavory things about that motherfucker. And so through the help of I did one video where I was like, man, the fuck, Sean Atwood. I followed you, man. I thought you were telling the truth, man. I didn't realize you were a scumbag. I did one video. I had to go to work, throw garbage the next day, so I just uploaded it. Overnight, I didn't have any subscribers, and overnight it got like 300, 400 views. I'm like, God damn. And all of a sudden I had like fucking 125 subscribers overnight. I'm like, what the fuck? I did another video. Same fucking shit. And that was kind of the trajectory. And so if you just started listening to me, that's why I have a lot of Sean Atwood stuff at the very beginning. That's what really got me going, at the time. And yeah, it's that's what really it's a long story. One day maybe I'll go into Daddygate again. But I've talked about it, I've hinted at it, but I blew up in just a few months. I was on my way to 10,000 YouTube subscribers in my first year. But after 5 months, YouTube cut me. And that's when I blew up. And when I lost my YouTube channel, I was ready to just stop podcasting. I was like, fuck this, man. I ain't starting all over. But I had my little angel, I had Missy, tell me, you got to keep going. And she motivated me, and I kept going, kept my head up. And she's been instrumental ever since. So I hope everyone has her in their thoughts, and she recovers nice and good. But yeah, it's a little bit of a quick little journey about my path here. Some of the things I kind of glossed over. I've talked about this before, and I say this completely knowing it could be to my detriment, because some people get really combative. They get real tribal with shit. And I'm not saying I'm holier than thou, because I've fallen for that too. I think it's just a human thing. You know what I'm saying? But my first red pill was, I grew up super religious. And my brother's probably listening. Me and my brother spoke last night, and we were talking a little bit about this. But brother, if you're listening, it was when his wife passed, that made me stop believing in a higher power, in the Abrahamic God. Because when she was going through that, I was praying with all my heart, with all my soul, from the bottom of my soul, and nothing happened. And it was at that point that I stopped believing. And I talked to my brother last night, and he still believes. He's spiritual. He has his own way of believing. He has his own way of looking at life these days. But kudos to him. But for me, that was the moment where I stopped. I was like, I can't do this. There's no reason for it. And I'm in this weird period right now in my life, with everything that's happening in my personal life, going through the divorce, going through I didn't mention, but early this year too, my dad came down with Alzheimer's. He was diagnosed this year officially. And thinking about my dad has made me wonder, do we have a soul? What, and if we do have a soul, what is it? If you're religious, if you're Christian, you're going to say, absolutely, of course we have a soul. Yeah, that's how you view it. I'm telling you, from my point of view, I don't know. Because when I visited my dad, and I looked at him in his eyes, and I'm talking to my dad, and his Alzheimer's kicks in. He gives me a blank fucking stare and starts talking bullshit. And in my soul, in my heart, I'm like, this is not my dad. Who the fuck is this guy? So that right there has made me ponder lately, what is a soul? Do we have one? Or is it like Nietzsche says, it's just brain synapses? I don't know. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Whoever wants to, I don't want to get it dark. Whatever you guys want to talk about, I would love to hear from y'all. What's up, CFR Network? What's up, Carl and Hanny? Colleen, hell yeah. Who else is in here? What's up? And Chrishards, Kikes, Muzzies, Fuzzies, and whatever. William Wallace. Yeah. I mean, if you guys want to call in, like I said, even if it's for like 2 minutes, say what's up. This is for you guys. This is a show for y'all. StreamYard is on the Rumble. So make sure you're following me on Rumble. And we'll do it there. Oh, I want to give a shout out to longtime listeners. Marion G of G's, Secret Squirrel, Tracy. Fuck. CFR has been following me for years, man. He was on YouTube just now. There's a few of y'all. from the UK, from the Daddygate days. If I forgot to mention your name, shout out. You know who I'm talking about. Maria Fur Babies, um, Brian Harvey, like people from back in the day. George O'Brien, my boy George O'Brien. I almost forgot about him. Um, Spotify, Lucas is always saying what's up. Um, my boy Matt, there's another one that's come through. Colleen is in here. Denver Attaway, hell yeah. What's up, Denver? Yeah, this is I'm just being appreciative because it does mean everything to me. Um, when I started this podcast, I didn't expect it to grow. I literally, I literally was just talking shit, and I think that's what people likes too. I don't know. That's why I want to hear from you. Don't make me think I know why you guys follow the show. I want to hear from you guys why you guys follow the show. But in my mind, from what I feel, anyways, it's because I don't pussyfoot around shit. I'm pretty blunt. Now that could be a good thing, but it could be a detriment. I think some people like that, but other people may feel it's a little harsh. And that's the point in my life right now where I'm kind of balancing. I'm trying to find a balance. That's why I'm listening to these Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca. Today I was listening to Epictetus. Epictetus, man. I'm listening to these things to try to become a better person. You know what I'm saying? And one of those things, one of the more fascinating things that has really kind of tripped me out is when I'm listening to some of these ancient philosophers. And when they're saying shit, I'm like, damn, I thought about this already as a kid. Sometimes I'm like, that already crossed my mind. The only difference is these people is putting into writing what I've already thought in my mind. Maybe, and maybe we all get that too. You know what I mean? And sometimes just hearing those things make it resonate a little bit more, but it's kind of trippy. It's kind of weird. But maybe these are things that are just primal in us humans. And so those probably people way before Socrates and Marcus Aurelius, way before any of them, millennia before them, that had thought the same thing. The difference is they didn't put their shit in writing. You know what I mean? They didn't copyright it. So who knows who's gonna be the first victim to the fucking StreamYard? I'm just kidding. I'll try to watch my language too. My brother Ezra, if you want to hit up that StreamYard, anyone, and just because, and here's the other thing, just because we have one person in doesn't mean, oh, now I'm just gonna sit and listen. Come and join us. Let's have a kumbaya. You know what I'm saying? Even if you could only hop in for 2 minutes, you don't have to stay the whole time. 2 minutes. I would love to hear from y'all. This show's for y'all. And so let's have a joyous occasion. Let's see, who else? Did I miss anyone? Oh, D4I5. Ooh, that's Steve's D. All right, all right. Yeah. So the link is on the Rumble chat, bro. Go to my Rumble channel because we don't have anyone on YouTube. We got more of a party going on Rumble. Thank you, everyone that's made it out. Anytime I do these solo shows, I never know if people's gonna come in or not. Hey, CFR, if you go to the video description of YouTube, go to my Rumble channel and like and subscribe. So if anybody wants to call in, if you haven't called in a while, I would love to hear from y'all. Anyone's welcome. If you called in a million times before, anyone's welcome. Some of you may or may not care, but right now I'm having a Golden Monkey 9.5. This is my first one. I'm only halfway down. These are dangerous. These are dangerous. Yeah. Why don't you do it? I'm just kidding. I ain't gonna. That puts a lot of pressure into people. If you've never called the show, just relax and let me. I'm just kidding. I'm not that drunk yet. I better knock it off. Just realize it's like talking to a friend, but that feels hypocritical for me to say that because in real life I don't talk to no one. I think that's one of the misconceptions people have. People think that because I have a podcast and I talk a lot of shit and I'm loud and I say this and I say that, they think that offline I'm the same way, and that's not true. I'm kind of quiet. I can be a loud motherfucker. Don't piss me off. Don't try to cheat me, because I will speak up. But most of the time, I just do my own thing, man. I don't fuck with anyone, and just go about my ways. You know what I'm saying? Denver says those are dangerous. Yeah, dude. Look at this shit. Some of y'all are gonna be like, "Oh, there's the all seeing eye." Illuminati confirmed. Nah, bitch, it's Belgian style triple. Fucking hell, man. Yeah, this is a bad boy. All right. I suppose. Oh, we got someone right here.
Hey, man.
What's going on, Denver? What's up, brother?
Oh, not too much. Not too much. Christmas is finally wrapping up, and family is taken off, and it's back to the regular grind. But
yeah.
Great
hey,
man.
Well, now that we got a caller, people on YouTube, if you are on YouTube, go to my Rumble channel. The party will continue there. Because when I get these call-ins, I don't know what's going to be said or what's going to be talked about, and I don't want to have to be careful. So we're going to end the stream. Give me 1 second. We're going to end the stream on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, go to Rumble or Odyssey, and the party will be there. And if you want to call in, the link is in the Rumble chat. Everyone is welcome. Everyone is welcome. If we get more and more and more people, let's have a big ass party tonight. This show's for y'all. All right, YouTube fams. Let's see. Remove on YouTube.